I'm telling you right now, if Tom Aspinall wins this fight and wins it in devastating fashion, he's going to be the champion of the world. Alright guys, we are just over 1 week from UFC London. If you recall, back in March, the UFC were there for the first time since 2019 and the crowd were absolutely electric. Paddy The Baddy stole the show. Tom Aspinall was the main event. He dominated Alexander Volkov. Molly McCann got a beautiful spinning back elbow. Listen, the fights were ridiculous. Everyone that got a finish all got a bonus. 9 bonuses handed out.
More fucking money.
That was a record, and Dana White was like, oh my God, this crowd is amazing. We are going back as soon as we can, and here we are, July 23rd. I go to the airport on Monday with my old man, and it's always good to go back to good old England, back to the O2 Arena where I had so many memorable fights. So I'm going to take you through the fight card and give you some thoughts on what I think is going to go down. All right, obviously in the main event, we got Tom Aspinall, a man that's coming into this with a record of 12-2, but since those 2 losses, he has looked absolutely unstoppable. And that is not an exaggeration. The man has had 5 wins in the UFC so far, and they're all stoppages, and they're all very, very quick. Last time out against Alexander Volkov, the first time Tom Aspinall fought in front of a crowd. All his other ones, they were either on Fight Island or at the UFC Apex, so he was worried about the crowd. Well, he walked out there cool as a cucumber, and my God, did he deliver. Stopped Volkov, a man that hasn't been stopped very many times, a man that's been in there with the best fighters on the planet, and he took him out of there in round 1, 3 minutes 45. And to be honest, before that, Sergey Spivak, round 1. Andrei Arlovsky, round 2. Alan Bordeaux, round 1. And then the guy that he made his UFC debut against, Jay Collier, again, round 1. But now we're getting into the big boys. This is a real step up in competition. Curtis Blades, he's very, very different from a Jake Collier. And Andrei Arlovsky, the long-time veteran, the former champion, and definitely a future Hall of Famer. With respect, he's had such a long career. He's been in the UFC since the year 2000. Okay, he's, with respect, getting to the end of his career. This guy, Curtis Blades, is a completely different animal. This guy's coming into this one fresh off the back of a knockout earlier this year in Columbus, Ohio, where he knocked out Chris Daukaus in round 2. And he didn't have to use his wrestling at all. That is what Curtis Blades brings to the table here. Wrestling. It is the first time Tom Aspinall has gone up against a heavy, heavy wrestler. And often, what we find is, for European fighters that don't have that long, rich history in wrestling, guys that favor more a kickboxing or a boxing style, the wrestling is the kryptonite, okay? It was very, very challenging for me. More so, not just physically, but mentally. Because when you're fighting a wrestler like that, you stand there, you kind of freeze, and you're like, what are they going to do? Are they going to shoot from the legs? Are they going to throw a punch? And you find yourself standing there waiting for them to dictate, you know? Whereas you got to dictate the dance. You got to go forward. You got to be first. You know, so for Tom, he can't let this wrestling take control of his mind. He can't let him, you know, cloud his judgment. He's just got to go forward. Same thing for Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades has been in there with the best people in the world. Looking at his record right now, last time out, knocked out Chris Daukaus. Before that, beat Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He got knocked out against Derek Lewis. He had a great first round. Round 2, Derek Lewis timed an unbelievable uppercut against the wrestler as he shot him for a double leg, and he knocked him out. But Derek Lewis is one of the hardest hitting guys. In fact, Curtis Blades has only been stopped by the hardest hitting people in the UFC. That is Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou on 2 occasions. Curtis Blades has been in there with the best people in the world, a record of 16-3, and he's only lost to the cream of the crop. This main event is unbelievable, and I cannot wait. And I firmly believe whoever wins this fight will go on to fight for a belt. We've got Jones potentially fighting Stipe for an interim. Francis Ngannou's out. He's got recovering from knee surgery. But I'm telling you, whoever wins this, they're in the big leagues, they're in the deep end, and they are this far away from a title fight. Now, co-main event, it was a bit of a disappointing situation. We got Jack Hermanson fighting the action man, Chris Curtis. Now, we know it was supposed to be Darren Till, the gorilla. Sadly, the same knee problems that he had in the fight against Derek Brunson, they've been haunting him. He got stem cell treatment. Seems like it didn't work. I think he's going to need surgery. He's going to be out for some time. Darren Till's been talking this week saying that, you know, he's been very, very sad, very low, you know, very depressed. This is his life. This is what he does. You know, of course he's depressed. He's got every right to be. You know, he was dying to go out there in front of the London crowd with all that support against Jack Hermansson, a very well-respected opponent, get back to winning ways and then get his career back on track. We know Darren struggled a little bit, but he's doing the right thing by not rushing back. However, Darren, wish you all the best. However, stepping in at the last minute, the action man, Chris Curtis. Listen, Chris Curtis has been around for a very, very long time. He was on the Contender twice. I've trained with him a little bit out here in Southern California. So I know him. I know the body of work. He's tremendously experienced. Went on the Contender twice. Got stoppages. Didn't get a contract. Started to think, am I on the right path? Is all this time and energy and effort, you know, that I'm putting into this mixed martial arts career, is it worth it? Because he had hardly any money in the bank. Well, he signs with the UFC, he gets 3 knockouts, he gets 3 bonuses, he got a stunning victory at Madison Square Garden, and the man is now stepping up last minute against Jack Hermansson in the co-main event at the O2 Arena. Now, prior to that, Jordan Levitt, Paddy Pimblett, this is a big one. Everybody loves Paddy the Baddy, Paddy the Fatty. Listen, he started camp at almost 200 pounds, he fights at 155. Guess what? I got a little bit of truth for you. A lot of fighters do that. I just think Paddy is just more honest than everybody. A lot of fighters used to do that. I used to blow up in between fights. Quinton Rampage Jackson used to get up to about 270 pounds.
How much you weighing these days, by the way? Is that sensitive?
Business, man. Man, it's right after Thanksgiving, dog.
Daniel Cormier. He's a big old boy. For him to get down to 205, it was a tremendous amount of dieting. Famously, the Manchester's finest, Ricky Hatton, Ricky Fatten, okay, he did that. Now, it's detrimental because the training camp becomes about making weight as opposed to winning the fight. However, Paddy's young and he's young enough to do that. Hopefully he learns and reins it in a little bit, but it's kind of who he is. So Paddy the Baddy's coming into this one fresh off the back of 2 UFC victories, both stoppages in the first round, 1 knockout, 1 submission, going up against Jordan Levitt, a guy that I think is 3-1 in the UFC, and he's a submission guy, okay? On the feet, I think he's at a detriment or a disadvantage, should I say, against Paddy the Baddy. But he's a very, very good grappler with a lot of submissions on his record. So he's looking to take Paddy to the ground. And Paddy's no slouch on the floor either. If you know his record, Paddy's got great submissions. We saw that last time out. He had flying triangles in Cage Warriors. Paddy's very, very well rounded. So that is an interesting one. Then Nikita Krylov against former title challenger on multiple occasions, Alexander Gustafsson. This one's flying under the radar. Gustafsson was one of the best light heavyweights on the planet at one time. He's a massive star. He's always fun to watch. And Krylov, last time we saw him was against Paul Craig. Paul Craig pulled out the submission at the last minute prior to Krylov almost smashing his head through the canvas. But that's a tremendous fight. We've got Molly McCann and Hannah Goldie. McCann's going to be no doubt looking to replicate that spinning back elbow knockout that she got last time and then stand at the side of the ring with a bottle of Howler Head getting absolutely wasted to support Paddy the Baddy. Now, and then of course opening the main card, Paul Craig taking on Volkan Oezdemir. That's a great fight. If Paul Craig wins this, come on. It's going to be a title fight next. He's unbeaten in 6 fights, 1 draw, 5 finishes, right? That's incredible. Okay, but he's still flying under the radar. Volkan Oezdemir, knockout power, real threat. So this is a big one. It's a dangerous one. But for the people of London and wherever you are watching this fight, it is a tremendous way to get this main card underway. Let me tell you, last time in March, the crowd was unbelievable. And I'm hoping it's going to be the same way this time. Can't wait to be there. When I get to London, I'm going to be doing all kinds of videos, so keep an eye out for them ones. And yeah, that's about it. See you soon. Take care.